welcome to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's Bad Dudes, brought to us by Data East. Bad Dudes is an action beat-em-up similar to Double Dragon. Many would say Bad Dudes is a clone of it, however there are some major differences between the two games. Now back in the day, Bad Dudes was considered pretty mediocre or even bad, but its infamous storyline nowadays has brought it to cult classic status. So here we go with Bad Dudes on the NES. Now at our startup screen, we're going to see our two main characters, Blade and Striker. Now you can play this game one player, or you can play it two player. And you do get to choose which character you would like to play as. Now I'm going to play as Blade in this run, however it doesn't matter which of the two you choose, they pretty much play exactly the same. Now we start off with our mission briefing, which we are told the president has been kidnapped. By what exactly? By ninjas. Yes, ninjas have kidnapped the president. And what's even greater about this whole intro, and what probably even makes it more infamous than ever, is it says afterwards, "Are you a bad enough dude to rescue the president?" Now we're just gonna have to wait and find out whether or not I am truly bad enough to rescue the president. Now this is level 1, and we're gonna get a feeling of our general controls. The movement of the game is very slow and it's pretty awkward at first. Until you played it a few times, it's kind of difficult to get used to the hit detection, how far away you get to be and able to actually hit something, as well as how far an enemy has to be away from you to do damage to you. Now for the most part, there's only a few enemy types in the game. You have the different multicolored ninjas, a ninja with a sword, a female character, and a few others we'll get to as the run continues. Now here we're already at our first boss. Now this is Karnov. Now he got his own spin-off of a game as well by Data East. Our main strategy for this battle is to walk in, kick him once, then immediately back out before his fire breath goes off. The fire breath will hit you, obviously do a decent amount of damage to you. Just repeat the strategy and he'll be taken care of in just a few seconds. Now if for some reason you do make it all the way to the left side of the screen, you can jump down, he'll follow you, but if you quickly jump right back up, you should be able to get to the right part of the screen before he's able to jump back up, so that you can at least start the whole process of hitting him and then backing away all over again with more area to maneuver around. Now with him taken care of, we move on to stage number 2. In stage 2, we are on a series of moving tanker trucks. Now, at the beginning of this level, I'm going to be able to get my power-up, the nunchucks. Now, it's just a normal weapon, but its length and distance that it hits, and it makes it easily the best of the weapons you can pick up during the game. By using this weapon throughout most of the game, you should be able to take care of almost all the enemies before they even get near you. There are, of course, exceptions, especially when you're going to have many enemies running at you from both the left and right sides of the screen. Now, one of the enemies to always make sure you look out for is those red ninjas that drop the power-ups, because they will also drop health, like they did right there where they dropped a soda can that I picked up just a few seconds ago. Now, continuing on the tanker truck, we're just going to have to pretty much just keep turning from left to right and hit the blue ninjas as they just keep suicidally running at us. Definitely not exactly the most exciting gameplay. Now, do stay away a little bit from the edges of the screen, to the right or left side, just so that you can see all the enemies that are coming at you. As you can see, they did drop a sword there, but I highly recommend hanging on to the nunchucks. I find that to use the nunchucks during almost all the boss battles in the game ends up making those bosses much easier to take care of. The main reason for the nunchucks being so useful is that you can keep a decent distance between yourself and the boss or any normal enemy. Now this game did have a successful arcade version that it is based off of. It also had a Commodore 64 version released around the same time as the NES port of it. However, in the arcade version, the president was designed after Ronald Reagan, whereas in the NES version, because it came out later, it was designed after George Bush Sr. As we finally are nearing the front of the truck, as you can see dudes written on the truck, not necessarily sure why the company is named Dudes. Now, as soon as you start fighting this boss, I recommend ducking, because he's going to move back and forth quickly, ducking near close to him, and then just waiting for him to walk towards you and keep hitting him from a distance with the nunchucks, and you'll see that you can just keep a decent distance away from you, and you can just keep pelting him with it, hit after hit after hit. After only a few shots, he's done, and we move on to stage number 3. Now this level is based off the sewers, as you can see. We have the green disgusting water that apparently every sewer in the entire world has, especially during the 8-bit era. And however, there is tons of Dragon Ninja Clan members attacking us, even in the sewer. You would think with all the stuff down here that their suits would not necessarily be blue, and I definitely wouldn't want to be wearing the color white while walking around in the sewers down here. Now, just like the first level, we actually can control the camera ourselves. We don't have to wait for it to slowly scroll by. So if you want to speed through the level as quick as possible on all the levels that are similar to this one where you actually can control the camera, just keep on walking and consistently jump, and you'll be able to scroll through the level pretty quickly. Now this is the third boss, and probably the boss that takes the longest to take care of. He splits into 5 different versions, and then he sends 2 of them at a time to attack you. When you defeat one, another one jumps up. If you defeat them both at the same time, then of course he'll send 2 more up at you. Then immediately he comes up at you, hits you a few times, or you can hit him a few times after only a few hits. He immediately then makes more of himself again. Repeat the process over and over again, and he's done with only a few minutes. Not necessarily challenging, it's just a pain to have to sit here and you can't just, gang rush him and quickly kill him in like only one time. He's gonna keep stopping and he's gonna keep making multiples of himself. He's definitely one of the easier of the bosses to manage, as long as you have the nunchucks or at least can duck and keep the enemies far away from you. There you go, one last hit. He's done.
I'm bad.
Blade yells out in very bad 8-bit language, "I'm bad," and we move on to stage number 4. Now the 4th level is a jungle-themed level, and it does introduce a few new things. A couple of new enemies, including the female ninjas, and we're going to have to see more of the ninjas that set themselves on fire and then run at you like the Human Torch. It also adds a new stage element. As you can see, in most levels we have a top and a bottom floor, and you can move between the two. Now in this one, as you'll see, right here, the top part runs out, you have to jump down to the bottom part, fight a few enemies, and then the screen will scroll, and you'll be standing now on the top part, and a new bottom part has emerged. In the end, it really doesn't change anything up, it just seemingly makes the game last longer because you have to sit there and watch the screen slowly scroll by. Now, like most beat-em-ups in general, the game isn't too long, so we actually only have a few more levels to go. There is a total of 7 stages in the game, including one more of those slow-moving scrolling levels, like the 2nd level of the game, so we do have that to look forward to. Now again, another one of those parts where we have to take out a few enemies, wait for them to come onto the screen, and you have to unfortunately take them out before the screen will scroll down and allow us to continue on in the level. Once the screen has finally scrolled down, we can actually continue on, doing exactly what we've been doing, taking out the ninjas, blue, white, red, female ninjas, and ninjas that set themselves on fire, as we continue on, dodging everything possible, and then we make it to the boss. Now this boss is very easy to take care of. Just walk to the right side of the screen, wait till he walks on the screen a little bit, and hit him with the nunchucks twice. He'll go off screen, wait till he walks back on screen again. As soon as he appears, hit him twice, he'll go off, wait once again, and just keep repeating the process, and he'll never be able to get a hit off on you. One last hit. He walks on, takes the hit, falls down, and once again Blade will be very happy to say, "I'm bad," as we now move on to stage number 5. Now stage number 5 is another one of the scrolling levels like I previously mentioned, like level 2. However, instead of tanker trucks, we are now on a moving train, and it's moving from the left side to the right instead of from the right to the left. Now this is also probably the hardest stage in the game. Not because of any new enemies that we're going to be dealing with the same blue and white ninjas that we've been dealing with. However, since the stage is actually pretty lengthy because it takes so long to scroll through it, there's not that many health items either. So if you take a few hits here and there, you're not going to have much health. You're probably only going to get 1 health upgrade throughout the entire level. And because of that, you're really going to have to conserve your energy. So stand at like the middle or so of the screen and just wait for the enemies to come to you. Try to take out the white throwing star ninjas before they jump up to the train so they don't have the opportunity to throw the stars at you and actually hit you. With a little bit of timing and practice, you'll soon find out when's the exact time to press the button to hit them as they're jumping up. Another interesting note is Data East definitely seemingly want to make money off of this game a lot because they actually paid to make it appear in 2 separate movies. The first being RoboCop 2, which is probably easily the more popular of the 2 films, and the other one, Parenthood, starring Steve Martin. One thing that I always thought was interesting was the fact that the game is timed. As you can see, we do have a timer at the bottom of the screen. Not necessarily sure why there would be a timer, especially in a level where you can't control how fast you move through the level. We have to stay on the train, we have to wait for it to slowly move by, we can't do anything about the